Come on, little squirrel. You can come up here too. Hey everybody, it's Lynn from A Bit of Birdsong. Oh my goodness, that poor brush. But that's a really ragged brush. It's pretty much always like that. I wanted to show you how amazing this turned out, and I really hope you can see the detail of the French knots, or whatever they're called. I know when we would do a whole design making knots like that, we called it candle wicking. But then I hear French knots, and you know what I see? It looks like one of my long hairs in there. But it could have been already in the blanket. So this came from the blanket. Let me show you again, if I can get my hands on it. This came from this that was in the dumpster. And the first thing that jumped out at me was this really pretty color and this needlework, obviously. And I could tell that it was threadbare, but I thought, well, maybe I could use Mod Podge to attach it to some paper. And it's amazing. It feels like leather. And the color, it completely lost that pale pink color, but I'm not surprised by that because it was paper thin, if even paper thin. You can see little bits of the pink where it didn't completely get covered in the Mod Podge. So I think it just took the color away to put that layer on top and have it against this craft paper. I love that we can see this. That is so amazing. So there's that one. This is where we just cleaned the stencil off, and you can see a little bit of the Pearl X pigments on that. I love the way this one turned out. I didn't think I would like the yellow and gold together, but I do like it. Really pretty. And then this is just the little black paper bag, and I started not to work on it yesterday, but since I knew I would have white paint out, I knew there would be a contrast, and so I pulled it back onto the table. Nothing fancy. I like this a lot, and this is where we took this really thin piece of metal, like screen or wire, and I just laid it down after brushing it with paint. I was hoping to get more design with the stencil. I think if you want to get more design, you have to spend a little bit more time than I did, and maybe even a different type of paper would help. But I don't dislike this, and exactly like I said, so these pieces that are just sitting on top from the palette knife, they're just going to peel right off. Or maybe that's where I actually just used the crayon directly over the stencil. I think this is one of my favorites. I really like the way the paint was stringing between these polka dots, and that was just a wine cork. Here you can see the Pearl X. I don't think you could see it when the page was so wet with the Mod Podge, but now that it's dry, you can totally see what that does to the paper. I would buy this again, and I need to get online and see if I can find it. I bought this used, and I'm so glad I bought it. So that is the way that turned out. Here is another page from the blanket. This time I was able to get these little knots, and the first time I didn't because, and maybe I did it on camera, when I pulled the blanket away, that fabric was so thin, or when I pulled the top layer of fabric away, it pulled it right over these knots, and they stayed attached through the batting. This time what I did was turn the blanket over and clip every stitch between the knots so that when I pulled the fabric up gently, it pulled these up with it. So with this one, I got the whole design. And I love that. And you can see it's a very raised right here. You know, I might be able to do this with less Mod Podge next time. I guess the craft paper is so heavy, and I was thinking that it would absorb a lot more. But I might try it again and not use as much Mod Podge. We may end up seeing more of the pink color if I do that. I'm not going to try to pull that up. It's very brittle, and that fabric was pretty much dry rotting, as you could see. So there's another one. I hope you can see how cool this is. And then here is the last one that I did. I just love how tactile that is. So those will definitely be cool pages. This, I love the way this turned out. Now, I might use a different color next. I will use a different color next time, and maybe different paper. Let me show you this side first. This is the back of a piece of wallpaper. And of course, you can see a leaf shape from the sewing machine. And then when you turn it this way, so I took a piece of wallpaper, and if you remember all of this stringy red paper, like the crinkle paper that you use in gift bags and stuff, that was in the trash too. So I just laid it on top of the wallpaper, and no. I laid it on top of a piece of netting and took another piece and put on top of it and sewed all the way around. That was the first step, is to get it all in that netting. And then once I was done, I thought, well, it kind of has a leaf shape. I mean, it's not exactly, but I don't think it has to be exactly. It reminds me of falling leaves. So if I did this again, I would use a different color in the background maybe. But I decided to go back with the sewing machine and sew the shape of the leaf to keep all of the red stuff in place. And that was what was done on top of the wallpaper. So first I did this netting envelope with the red paper in it, kind of flat, and then I laid it on here on a piece of wallpaper that was cut to size and just sewed the leaf shape. So I think that will be a fun journal page. Jason really liked this. He said we could have the house full of art like this. I love that about him. It's just really nice to have that support from him. And yeah, I support him too. He's amazing. Okay, so that is all for this video. I just wanted to come back and show you how amazing this paper is. I love it. I'm still waking up. I've just made coffee and I'll edit this video. I've got some more things that I need to put in the mail today. And then I'll be working on some sort of packs and more journals. So I will see you soon. At this time, I would like to thank my Patreon supporters. Without your help, I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing, which is have a channel, create content, make journals, and do art full time. Thank you so much for supporting me like you do. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate always your feedback and suggestions. Okay, bye for now.